Something massive just happened in the world of sports marketing, and honestly, nobody saw it coming. Nike, one of the biggest brands on the planet, just signed a brand new women's tennis ambassador. And no, it's not the world number one. It's not the world number two either. It's a young woman from the Philippines named Eala, and the tennis world is still trying to wrap its head around it. Now look, rumors about this deal had been floating around for months. But when Nike finally made it official, they didn't just put out a press release and call it a day. They threw an entire event at their headquarters, complete with a brand new gallery space. An actual gallery, named after her. Inside that gallery, her most defining moments in tennis are framed and mounted on the walls like pieces of fine art. For a player this early in her career, that kind of treatment is almost unheard of. And it doesn't stop there. Nike commissioned a pair of custom shoes designed specifically for Eala, a deeply personal touch that signals just how serious they are about this partnership. This isn't a standard, "wear our logo, here's a check" situation. Nike is going all in. The numbers back that up too. We're talking a reported $45 million over 3 years, with performance bonuses that could push that figure even higher. But beyond the money, what's really telling is the role they're giving her. Eala is being positioned as the official face of Nike across the entire Southeast Asian market. Custom outfits, major global campaigns, front and center visibility, the kind of spotlight typically reserved for Nike's absolute biggest names. So why Eala? Why now? Well, when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, it starts to make a lot of sense. This isn't just about tennis stats. Eala has become a cultural force, particularly in the Philippines and across Southeast Asia, where millions of people see her as living proof that anything is possible. That kind of connection to a fan base? You genuinely cannot manufacture it. Nike saw something rare, and they moved fast, because they had to. Both Adidas and New Balance were in the running too, and Nike knew the competition was real. They've been burned before. Losing Coco Gauff to New Balance still stings, watching her blossom into one of the most marketable athletes in tennis. They weren't about to let history repeat itself, so when Eala's camp came to the table, Nike came loaded. But here's the part that's got people genuinely talking, and not in a good way for Nike. While all of this was happening, Aryna Sabalenka, the reigning world number one, multiple Grand Slam champion, longtime Nike athlete, reportedly asked the brand for a custom outfit, something fitting for the best player in the world. And Nike said no. Flat out, no. Let that sink in for a second. The same company that built an entire gallery for a rising star and handed her a $45 million deal, turned around and told the number one player on the planet that a custom kit wasn't happening. The contrast is jarring, and the tennis world has taken notice.
Yeah, unfortunately next season it's not gonna be that special for me, but exactly.
And that contrast? It's not subtle. For a brand as image-conscious as Nike, the message they're sending here is loud and clear, whether they intended it to be or not. Sabalenka has earned every accolade the sport has to offer, and to be quietly pushed to the side while a younger athlete gets the full red carpet treatment, that's a tough pill to swallow, no matter who you are. So what actually went wrong between Nike and Sabalenka? Because this didn't happen overnight. By most accounts, the cracks started forming a while back, and it all traces back to the fallout from Coco Gauff's victory at Roland Garros. Sabalenka made some comments in the aftermath that didn't sit well with a lot of people, and Nike, a brand that guards its reputation fiercely, reportedly took notice. For a company that has spent decades carefully curating who and what it stands for, any whiff of controversy is treated as a threat. That incident, small as it might have seemed at the time, appears to have been the beginning of the end. Then came the US Open loss to Madison Keys, which added more friction to an already cooling relationship. But the real breaking point? That seems to have come during the WTA finals, where serious allegations surfaced regarding Sabalenka's conduct following her defeat to Elena Rybakina in the final. The details are still murky, but the nature of those claims, if accurate, is exactly the kind of thing Nike cannot afford to be attached to. And it looks like they decided they wouldn't be. Since then, the signs have been impossible to ignore. Sabalenka herself has publicly confirmed that Nike will no longer be producing custom dresses for her, a pretty stunning admission from the world number one. It's not just an inconvenience. For an athlete at her level, that kind of treatment chips away at her image in a very real and visible way. Sources close to the situation say she's been trying to repair things behind the scenes, reaching out in hopes of getting the relationship back on track. But right now, it doesn't look promising. Unless something significant shifts, it's hard to see this partnership making it through the season intact. And that's what makes this whole story so fascinating, and honestly, a little unsettling. Nike's decision here isn't about who's the best player in the world. It's a cold, calculated business call. They're not rewarding Sabalenka for her dominance on the court. They're investing in Eala's story, her cultural reach, and the massive untapped market she represents across Southeast Asia. In the world of sports marketing, sentiment only goes so far. At the end of the day, it's about who moves the needle. And right now, Nike believes that person is Eala. For Sabalenka, it's a harsh reality check that success alone doesn't guarantee loyalty from the brands that once lined up to attach their name to yours. The sport's biggest sponsors are always looking ahead, always calculating the next move. And in this particular chess game, it appears Sabalenka is being positioned off the board. But for Eala, this is just the opening chapter. With the full weight of one of the most powerful brands in the world now firmly in her corner, the sky genuinely is the limit. Nike doesn't make moves like this halfway. When they commit completely. And right now, Eala is their bet, their vision, and their future face of women's tennis. The world is watching, and something tells me we've only just scratched the surface of how big this story is going to get.